segment, we have Vikram and Varsha joining us to converse over the value addition that sports brings in marginalized communities. To introduce them, Varsha Yashwant Kumar is co-founder and director of One All, a non-profit that provides value education to youth through the self-refereed and mixed-gendered sport of ultimate frisbee. One All works with schools and underserved communities in Chennai and Gudalur. Varsha completed her master's in photojournalism from Boston University in 2010 and worked as a storyteller across sectors. She is a 2020 Acumen Fellow and works amongst the Adivasi people of Gudalur. Vikram Menon is a former athlete and professional coach turned social entrepreneur. He has conceptualized and managed over 200 sporting events in the last 12 years, including the Wild Warrior race, named India's Best Adventure Race. He is the founder of Life is a Ball, a program that works with school children around India, improving their lifestyles through sport. Currently, Vikram's initiative positively impacts over 1.5 lakh vulnerable children in low-income communities. Vikram's life goal is simple: to help as many Indians as possible lead healthier and happier lives through sport. Welcome, Vikram and Varsha. I'm very pleased to have you join us at Kural 2020 today. I'm looking forward to the conversation that both of y'all are going to be facilitating yourself amongst yourself. So over to you.
Thanks,
Vikram?
Thanks, Vikram. Thank you. Before we start, I just wanted to make sure if you can hear me, see me.
Yes, perfectly.
Perfect, superb. So we can start straight away, right?
Yes.
Hi, Varsha. How's it going?
Hi, Vikram. Good. How's it going?
Going okay. Managing. So I think we'll just dive straight in, Varsha. Let's just go straight into topic. So sports-based interventions, right? I think it's something that is gaining popularity in schools right now. So can you just explain why it's impactful and why it's important?
Yeah. I think, first of all, children just love playing anything. Regardless of what sport it is, unless you've had a really bad experience in your childhood and you've been put off sports, the natural tendency is to run around and play and enjoy with your friends. So it's really easy to get children together to play rather than to study or try to do something else with them. You don't have to convince them too hard to come and run around and catch a frisbee in our case. And what we do is then we use that attention that we've already got and that trust that we've established to talk about other issues that the communities or they are facing. So sports, it's very conducive to get children together. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think sports kind of sells itself, right? Sport over the years has had the ability to bring millions and billions of people together. However, we feel like over the last 10, 15 years, the importance given to sport in schools has reduced. Less kids are playing, less kids are healthy. So I think it's something that every single school, every single curriculum should definitely encourage is outside intervention, whether it's company-based or whether it's NGO-based, just people coming in to make a difference. And that's the end goal, is to make a difference, right? Super. What's so unique about sport?
I think it just makes people feel good. And, I don't think you really need much more than that to gather people together. What's your take on it?
See, I'm a big fan of believing that a kid needs just about everything. And like you said a little earlier, I think every kid has an athlete in them. And it would be wrong to not give that kid that opportunity, So I think sport is something that you introduce to kids and you teach it the right way. And that's basically planting the seed. And then it's about them coming back and actually being disciplined and being focused and actually building that skill set. but the first seed has to be planted by someone else if the tree has to grow. And that's where outside intervention makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I think we've got a lot of examples also from history. I mean, the way the Olympics was founded, the way it's gone on to bring communities and countries together to, even overcome war. And it's got so much potential to do more than just be within a small place with a small number of people playing. Yeah, so shall we move on to the next question?
Any question?
Yeah, okay.
Question, go for it. Yeah.
So, how do you inculcate and build life skills and values through sports-based programs?
Okay. So, are you talking about us or are you talking about sport in general? You're talking
about you all.
Okay, life is a ball. Okay. So the curriculum is centered around building life skills. Every single game, every session we organize, we try and make sure that the coach or the volunteer who's present at the time is teaching, for example, leadership. If you have to go into leadership, we try and make sure that every session, a different kid gets a chance to be a leader. So, and then you teach them the different values that leadership brings with that. Similar to that is respect for each other. So if they play a match, for example, after the match, you shake hands, you say, well done, whether you win or lose. That doesn't matter. It's about playing hard, but at the same time, you want to make sure that sense of respect for the other person is always there. That's stuff that sport already teaches, but only when taught properly. And that's where we come in, I think over the years, what I've seen with kids is learning how to play is one thing, but learning how to play correctly, that needs to be taught. And if you can include that in your curriculum and be very, very strict that this is equally important to kicking a football or throwing a ball or diving, whatever it is, then the kids understand, okay, this is why sport can actually be a game changer. So introducing different life skills into your curriculum and teaching philosophy, that's what our biggest goal is, because we want to make better people. We're not really looking at just making better athletes, because that can be done. Making better athletes, better people. Can you hear me, Varsha?
I've lost you a bit. Can you hear and see me? Vedika, can you hear?
Yes, it seems like Vikram is having a little bit of a bandwidth issue.
Okay.
So Varsha, while we wait for him to join in, would you like to answer the question yourself about One All's approach to sport intervention?
Thanks. Yeah. So for us, we use this sport called ultimate frisbee. For those who don't know about ultimate frisbee, it's played with a plastic disc called a frisbee, and it's a 7-a-side sport. It's mixed gender. And hey, are you back? Oh, I think he's gone. Sorry. Yeah. So the sport is mixed gendered. It's self-refereed and it's non-contact. So hi Vikram, welcome back. I just thought I'll take over for you while you're not here. Your voice isn't audible yet. You've muted yourself.
Yeah. Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm back.
Yeah. So I was just saying, we use ultimate frisbee as our main sport in our curriculum. And the sport itself is mixed gendered, it's self-refereed, and it's non-contact.
Yes.
So these are amazing, amazing life skills to be introduced through a sport.
Yeah.
And mixed gender, starts off conversations about the gender stereotypes.
Equality,
it teaches boys and girls how to play together in a country, especially like ours, where girls aren't allowed to play sports after puberty. And generally, they're not encouraged to go outside after dark, and so many issues that girls face. So it gives boys an opportunity to understand what girls go through, and it gives girls the opportunity to understand what boys go through. And it just makes for a better team when you can understand each other so well. And the self-refereed aspect of it really brings out dialogue. So within the game, if while the game is on, if you and I are on different teams, if you call a foul on me, we have 30 seconds to figure it out
Figure it out.
between each other.
Yeah.
So everybody else waits and you and I talk together.
Correct.
And so I try and convince you my point of view and you try to convince me what's happening from your point of view.
Yeah.
And if we agree, there are ways that the rules are formulated in a way that there are steps to for every decision that is possible.
Correct.
And it's really important to know the rules in the game, which also helps young people understand the importance of why there are rules and why it needs to be followed and what it means to break rules.
Yeah.
And non-contact aspect basically teaches people how to respect each other's space and what it means to play in a fair way without hampering the joy of play for the other person.
Yeah.
And Ultimate Frisbee also has this concept of spirit of the game, which is codified in the rules of the game. And it gives a lot of importance to fairness and fair play and how not to foul somebody and how to communicate respectfully to people. So all this is discussed in a spirit circle at the end of each game that is played, even in the highest levels of competition. So having discussions like this makes it very easy for people and teams to leave differences on the field and go out as friends. And there is a very high level of competition, but it's all done in a very spirited way. So we build on this, and we also in our curriculum, and we talk about other topics like identity and empathy and gender stereotypes, and we teach young people how to have interpersonal relationships better. So so this is how we use sport and life skills.
So I have a question. So obviously Ultimate Frisbee was made in order to touch all of these points that you just mentioned, right? With the kids that you're working with, have you seen a difference when they're playing other sports?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I don't like to call out sports.
I mean, you can't call out sports, you know, because it's been there for like maybe 150 years and it is what it is. You cannot call out a sport. But what do you feel in terms of how has this impacted the same kids who play a football or a basketball or I don't know, any sport?
So we've had 2-3 of our really talented football boys who've been playing football come back to us and tell us that we've really learned how to take care of our teammates through Ultimate Frisbee, and that we didn't learn through football because there's so much aggression and just the way they see the sport being played on TV is it's just yourself and your team first before anybody else. So this tries to move away from that and helps them care for other teammates as well, not just their own team. Yeah.
So how I look at this entire space is I like to divide the two into kids who are trying to be professional athletes, teaching them values, versus kids who are playing sport and teaching them values. The professional values you teach to athletes is very different from what you would teach normal school kids, right? So like for example, you said like a bunch of boys have come up from your Frisbee program, going into the football program, saying that it's made a big difference. So I think that's the beauty of a sport like a Frisbee, where you're teaching people how to behave more than anything else, you know.
I
but
agree with you. Yeah.
No,
go on.
So my point is, why can't other sports played in school level, within schools for kids, teach the same values? And that's exactly what we are trying to do. We're looking at teaching the same values when they play a football or a basketball or a volleyball, where most of the time we try and get the boys and girls to play together, because when they're 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th standard, they should be playing together, right? If you start dividing them over there, and even if you look at schools right now, most schools will make the boys stand in one line, the girls stand in one line, the shortest boy in front, the tallest boy at the back. For some reason, these methods have been followed for years. So that's where we come in, and we actually go in and we're trying to break that. We're trying to break it because we believe it's not correct.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add also, like you said, mixed gender part of it is really important, getting boys and girls to play together regardless of what sport it is. And there are other organizations also inculcating these same values into football as well.
Right.
So it is possible to teach values through any sport. It's just the way it's been done all these years, and how bureaucracy has evolved, and how to, how we can change that. But
Correct.
it is also, personally, I think it is possible to teach professional sports in a way, along with values as well, because we also have, not as, obviously not a
Yeah,
bigger
but what
level
type
as
of values? What
the
type of
same kind of
values?
spirit of the game, like we have been coaching, like
Oh, spirit of
yeah.
the game is completely fine, but like you said, that kid came back and said they're not playing that hard anymore. That is
No,
something
no,
that I
no.
wouldn't
That's not
really
what he
accept.
said.
Yeah,
No, I think you
yeah,
misunderstood. He said that you're not just going for the ball, regardless of whether you're going to hurt the other person. It's you.
okay,
Even in frisbee, you play as
yeah,
hard as you possibly can, but you're just
right.
keeping in mind, okay, I'm not going to lay out into the other person, knowing that that person is going to get hurt. So that
Yeah.
is the difference.
Oh,
And
of course, that's playing dirty. That's very different.
yeah,
Playing hard and playing dirty is like two different
yeah,
things.
it is.
That's not a part of the rules, right?
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
not part of the rules. And also, like, India has been sending teams to the world championships in frisbee for the past 10 to 12 years, I think. So it's possible, definitely, to play a really high level of ultimate without you being aggressive or just thinking about yourself first.
Yeah, but it might be a little different
Varsha
in
and
basketball or
Vikram,
football, is my point.
Hmm. Yeah,
sorry, we have one technical question,
Yeah.
just so that we are including all our listeners. Somebody asked, what is a layout?
Oh, sorry to be using jargon. A layout is when you go horizontal and try to catch a disc. So if it's really far from you, you dive, and you're almost horizontal to the ground, and yeah, you fall. So it's called laying out, when you're far away from the disc and you dive in order to catch it.
Okay. That's information for me as well. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, superb. So next has it been so far for you? I mean,
I missed that.
I said, how sustainable is it? Has it been so far for you, given the mentality that schools bring? Has it been sustainable? I have another question to add to this. Has it been sustainable as the kids get older?
So sustainability, I think, has two parts the way I look at it. One is in terms of funding, and that is a whole different story, where you don't get schools to pay you a lot, and you have to keep doing fundraising continuously. But in terms of operations, I feel like this is the model that we've been trying to create, at least, where it is sustainable. So our facilitators teach the children. We identify young people with potential from our children.
No, I understand that, Varsha. My question was a little different, not from your side.
Okay.
How sustainable is it from the school side? What's the principal saying as the kids get to the 8th, 9th, 10th standard? Are they saying, you know what, you don't need this anymore because you need to study?
So there is a bit of both.
Sorry. Like, I'm very deep into this topic. I've also heard girls after the 8th standard are not supposed to play. And I've heard a lot of things that are completely off. So have you come across similar issues? And if you have, how have you tackled it?
Yeah, so definitely schools go down that route, saying higher classes, when they have exams, you're not supposed to play sport. So the way we've worked around it is we've started community programs where we teach kids after schools. How we approached with parents, especially to tell them about girls and not playing after 8th standard, after puberty. We have a lot of female facilitators, and we just show them by example. And when they know that their children are really having fun and gaining from this, they are open to changing their opinions.
Correct.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's the same as what you just said in the end. It's all about the results you show. If you actually show the school, the principal, the parents, that the kids are actually getting better, if you prove it to them, then they're willing to back you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fair, because for them, this is an experiment in many ways, right? They don't see it like this. So you got to go and prove that, okay, this is actually adding value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is all about what you show people at the end of the day, like you said.
No, 100% has to be.
Yeah. I think we're out of time. As Vedika said. It's
from the audience, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Vedika, do we have any questions?
We do have a couple of questions from the audience.
Okay.
Given that we are past time, there is an interesting question that if you don't mind taking the next 2 minutes to answer, I'd be happy to share with you.
Sure.
And someone is asking about the parents' role in your interventions. So if you could shed some light, we heard you speak
Yeah.
players than, but the parents.
You want to take this first, Vikram?
Yeah, I can go. I think parents play a huge role, but it comes down to the same thing. You need to be able to educate the parents as well. We always believe in sport that if you can educate the parents, half your problem is solved. Because kids will always play, kids will always give 100%, but till they get to a certain age, the parents make the biggest decisions for them. So what we do with the program is we try and use every quarter in such a way that we involve the parents in some way or the other. It could be talking to them, it could be putting on an event for them, it could be doing something for their fitness itself, where they actually get there and say, okay, you know what, this makes sense. So educating the parents is a big part of sustainability with this program.
Yeah, that's very true. We found that true as well for our program. And let me give you an example. In Chennai, in Dominkupam, one of our boys' mothers, she came back to us after a year or so of our program, and she told us that, he's actually started helping me out with cooking at home, which he never used to do before. So we make it a point to do home visits and village visits as when we're here in the Adivasi program in Gudlur, and we keep in touch with parents and see what they're really feeling, and if they have any issues that they're facing, we try and address that through our program as well. So like you said, including parents within the framework of the curriculum and the way we run it is really important, because it's because of them that we have permission to work with their children. So it's really important to keep them in the loop of what is happening.
I agree, completely agree.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Vikram and Varsha, for spending your afternoon with us and adding valuable insights to Kural 2020.
Most welcome.
Thanks, Vedika. Thanks for organizing this.